Hello everyone, my name is Clementine. Welcome back to Creativ. I am back with another video. I've been looking at my channel recently and I realized I've been uploading a lot of concept art videos. Not a lot of videos that have anything to do with actual theory or anything on how to draw. While concept art videos are pretty interesting to watch, sometimes you might not be able to apply any of the knowledge that you might pull up from those kind of videos because you might lack some kind of theoretical knowledge. Today I want to do a real-time presentation of how to draw a face, 3-point view and side view. Now I think I've already done a frontal view, I don't know, a couple of months back, like 4 months back, which is definitely not a couple, it's more. But I think I've done the front view. So today we're going to tackle the three-quarter view and side view. I love how I said three-corner view. This video suggestion also, not video suggestion, but this video idea also came from someone who commented in the comment section. I think what you said was that they're not very good at basically at drawing faces in three-quarter view. And because of a lot of frustration, because they don't know how to draw, usually they don't draw a lot, they just stop drawing. So today I want to basically show you how I draw faces, and maybe you can apply that knowledge on your characters. So let's begin with the three-quarter view. Here I'm actually going to start off with a circle and a couple of line arts. These I don't usually draw. I do draw a circle. And from the circle I just go straight onto the painting. I don't waste my time with unnecessary things that don't have any, no meaning. So I just draw this and then bluff, and I just do it. What is that? We got something over here. There we go. So I draw a circle and then I just basically throw in the face because I already know how it's supposed to look like because I drew it so many times, right? But today we're gonna do it with the actual guidelines. All right. So what I want you to do is, first of all, draw a circle. Now, if you're drawing traditional, you're gonna have to draw this one freehand. If you're digital, you can just do a circle with a ellipse tool, just like I did. And then we're gonna do some key guidelines. The first one would be one here on the left and on the bottom. Which creates sort of a corner, and these are on the edge of the circle. This is going to be our side of the face, and this is going to be where our face is going to start to bend into the chin. And then here we have another line. This line is 1/4 in, somewhere around there. I think that's, let's see. I think it's somewhere around one corner. Why did I say one corner? Why do I keep saying one corner? There's no such thing as one corner. I think 1/4 I want to keep saying. I think it's almost 1/3, not 1/4. So you divide the circle here on 1/3. Let's say this is 1/3. And we divide it on the third, or the second third actually. Basically repeat the same thing you did on this side, over here, and then the one that comes next to it is very nearby, right? This one is very nearby, or this line. So now we're gonna start to throw in the actual lines that are gonna form the face, because for now we only have guidelines, and that really doesn't give us much of an idea of what we have to do. So I'm gonna start on the left side. So the character is gonna be looking at this way, so it's looking to the left, right? We start with the line that goes a little bit sideways, I guess. It's tilting slightly to the left, to the right. Also, this is going to be in a sketchy drawing, not a very polished illustration, so bear with me. Again, slightly tilted. We start to curve the cheek here, where the line is drawn. So we got this really nice guideline. Again, this is where we start to draw the face. Let me do all of that again. This is where we start to draw in the face, right here. So we start drawing in the face, slightly tilted, round off the cheek, and then we connect it in here where we get to the chin. Now, here we got a couple of options. Considering your style, this is where you're gonna want to change the tip from being very pointy to being very wide, and generally being like legit just point. So again, whatever you prefer, I'm gonna go with a slightly wide, not too wide though, and not as round as you see it here. I'm gonna round it off. Again, the chin, there's so many ways to draw a chin. Really your own preference here. So once we have this chin in, the next thing we need to do is throw in the jawline. The jawline is this line right here. This guideline helps us to determine where our jaw ends, so the lower jaw, right? So we go over there, we pull it up to the circle, and we make it like so. We do a little line up. So you can already start to see that we have a face that's beginning to form here. What we're gonna do next is right here where you see this second line, that's where the neck is being dropped in. And the neck also comes in sorta in the middle of the chin. Again, the neck really depends on your style, considering how thick it is. And I do say your style because this sort of knowledge can be applied not just to concept art, but also to manga, comic books. Proportions don't change that much style to style. You still have to know actual proportions, even if your proportions in the comic book or whatever you're doing are stylized. You still need to know real proportions to be able to create stylized proportions that match. And the next, we basically just almost circle around this circle. And I'm trying to make a nice lines. I'm just gonna go sketchy. I try to make nice lines, guys, but it didn't work out. Here, again, when we have the head, you can actually cut away some of the circle. It doesn't have to be full. Because I think that circle is a little bit too perfect. Like the head is not actually straight. So I'm just gonna delete some of that. There we go. So we have that in. Again, this is a little bit too round personally. I think it's more like a little bit more flat. Let me do that. A little bit flatter. And definitely the neck here has to be a little bit thicker. These lines are, some of these lines are very debatable where they're placed, these guidelines, because depending on your style, your neck might start here, it might start where mine did, it might start where the guideline is. I just recommend for the beginning, just focus on, just keep it to the lines. I just do whatever I feel like is right. But these guidelines basically help you. So the next thing I'm going to draw is the guidelines for eyes, which you usually start. Again, this one is just experience here, guys. I already know where it needs to be, so it's very hard to say, but it's basically where you began drawing the line. Sorta almost the middle of the circle. I would say a little bit below because the entire face is curved, right? If you draw a straight line, it's in the middle. If you draw a curved line, it starts in the middle, but sort of goes below the middle line and kind of finishes again on the middle. Again, split the chin here in half. So the vertical line basically splits the face in half. The horizontal almost splits the actual circle in half. So the next thing I'm gonna throw in, I'm not gonna throw in the ears now because I want to wait till I throw in the eyes. Depending on the size of your eyes, that's how you want to adjust your ears. So the first things first, the first things first, I love how I said that. First things first, the nose. Again, I didn't draw any guidelines for this. I already know where this needs to be more or less. Since it's a computer, I'm not really that worried. I can just always fix it very easily. Again. Alright, and then the mouth comes where this guideline is, the one for where the chin curves. It begins there, you can bend it a little bit. We pull a straight line for the nose, and then we drop in the eyes on the line, like so. I'm just gonna draw these nice looking eyes. Like, you know what? I'm gonna give him a wide eye. There we go. And we draw some eyebrows too. But we're not gonna draw any hair today. It's much better if he's kept bald. For women, the same proportions are applied. When I draw face, you gotta understand that even when they're animating, a lot of the things that they draw, not the way, okay, the way I said it's a little bit wrong. Not anime, but like video games, a lot of the assets are the same. Like chin shapes and stuff like that is usually just the same. And, or maybe not chin shape, but the actual facial structure is the same in a lot of characters in video games. You don't notice it because that's not what you pay attention to. You never pay attention to somebody's structure of the face. But it is something that is reused a lot. So you can imagine that even in the world of comic book and drawing, it applies basically the same way. The same guidelines can be used for male and female. So here we go. Gonna make that eye a little bit smaller. Not too big. I made it a bit too big. There we go. Again, you can throw in the hair. I can just give it that shaved look. And now the eyes, not the eyes, the ears come in. I guess the top ends where the eyes are, right? So that's where the top ends. And the bottom starts where the nose ends in the bottom, right here. So you can see that it sort of goes around there, around that area. So remember, that is a very good reminder or guideline. Even in real life, that's how it works. Ears come to the height of eyes and to the height of nose. That's where the ears are. Depending on the view, that might change. Depending on the view, it might change, but not on anything else, right? It doesn't change depending on the person. Very. What am I doing? What am I doing, people? Depending on depending on the person, it might be a little bit different, but most of the time, these kind of things are the same. So, if you watched this far, by now, hopefully you've learned how to do the side face. As you can see, I got it in. Not the side face, I'm very sorry, the 3/4 view. I got it in. This is the result. Again, very sketchy. The head shape could maybe use a little bit of work. But for a sketch, I think it's nice. Or not nice. Good enough, you know. But again, this is something you should be aiming for. Again, these guidelines are here to help you, so you should just try to copy these. And then try to draw a face in it. Again, this sort of things requires repetitive work, where when you do it a lot of times, it'll just automatically, happen next time you draw, or eventually after a while, it's just gonna automatically happen. The next look I want to take a look at is the side view. Again, a couple of guidelines here. This here. All of these 3 lines here that you see horizontal, are there 3? 1, 2, 3. Actually, there's 4. There's 4 even. Let me just move this guideline just a little bit up. I'm getting really messed. It's screwing with me, the Photoshop. I got so many layers because I got some of the things on each individual layers for better managing. Okay, so here we go. We got 1, 2, 3 same. I don't know what these are. Geometrical shapes. What are these called again? Bricks? I don't know. Anyway, we got 1, 2, 3 of those. It's basically 4 horizontal lines that are divided from each other. Pretty much the same. If one of these is a little bit further apart than the other, it doesn't really matter. Now this isn't a given here. This is, again, according to your style. These lines might change a little bit. The position of these lines might change. But I think what's the most important here is to just get in and start drawing, so you'll get a better idea of what's happening. So we got this line here. Let's just talk about what this line here does, okay? Because it's so weird here, just on the end. This is the line that marks the neck, where the neck comes in. Now the problem with this style is that the head, you see the head is not, even the skull, right? Take a look at it. If I draw it here quickly, we can see that the skull is not actually straight, right? Not straight. What am I talking about? It's not actually round. The skull is actually like this weird shape, right? This oval shape. So that's the kind of shape you wanna get here, slightly oval. And that's the last part we're gonna do. The head is the last part we're gonna do, but the neck is the first thing I wanted to throw in, because that way I limit myself on this side. Basically, this tells me this is my limit here. I can't go any further than this, and with this I get to properly place in everything else that comes in here, all these other guidelines. If you don't have anything here, you might stray away, you might start to draw something here, and then everything might be just a little bit out of proportion, and then just fixing everything might be tedious if you're drawing a very tight drawing. But let's get into it. So we got a couple of lines here, really difficult to really decipher which of these does. So let me just explain. This one is the bottom of the chin. So we're actually gonna throw this in right now. And before we throw that in, the line over here, this vertical line that's almost in the middle, this line tells us where the jaw will end. Just like this line here, which told us where the jaw ends, this one also does the same function. So what we do is we draw it a little bit above the circle, and we pull out a chin. So the next line here indicates where the lips are. So what we want to do is finish the chin with a little bit of space underneath, so we can fit that line in, right, like so. There we go. I'm just gonna finish off the neck. The neck is, you know, again, depending on your style, depending also on the physique of the person, the neck can change quite a lot, but just a little bit in the front of the line that kind of marks where our chin ends. That's where you want to put the neck, just a little bit in front of that. So again, this line here separates the lower lip in the middle. Then we add the upper lip. And this line, the next line, indicates where our nose is supposed to end. Again, these lines may change comparing their style. These lines might change depending on your style, okay? So you got to be really careful when you're drawing, that you don't, because sometimes it might be up to your style, but sometimes you might actually make an honest mistake. Where if something is out of proportion, you can't just say, oh, it's part of my style, right? So you got to be careful that some of these lines, even though they move up and down, you got to be careful where you place them, because the maneuvering goes somewhere around. Let's say this is the middle here where my line is drawn. This line moves somewhere around 3 millimeters up and down, right? So I'm gonna basically throw this nose in now, right here. That's where the tip of the nose is. Whether the tip actually reaches here is, again, depending on your nose. Some noses go up higher while the others are, you know, different shapes. So not all noses might reach that height. Again, like I said, the line might drop down to 3 millimeters, right? So you have a really, I don't know what kind of a nose that would be. I'm more of a pointy-ish nose man, like not in real life, I like to draw those kind of noses. We pull this line up almost completely to this line, but not quite. And then we add one of these, which basically this line here shows us where our skull starts to get inward, right? And this is where the soft, I don't know what the nose is made out of. I know what it's made out of. I don't know what it's called in English. So we're just gonna call it soft bone for now. So we got this hard bone here, right? This is the skull. We got the hard bone, which kind of goes in like so. Let me just show you, right? That's how the skull kind of works. And then we have the nose over here. But basically what happens is that we got one of these things. because that's how the skull looks like, right? The skull looks like this, right? You can see it's very flat, but we got this soft bone here that adds this extra constructional piece here. And this here later looks like so. So in anime, if you watch, this is very emphasized when they're angry, this part here. And this is just, skin here moves a lot depending on our expression. So here you can add a couple more lines for anger. Here you can add them for sadness. If you just make a straight line, you can add annoyingness, you know, depends. Here again, just a lot of knowledge on its own, just how you I don't know, draw the eyes or something. There's so much to learn, you know, that sometimes it's very hard to put everything in these videos. But again, the neck, the forehead here does not get drawn completely to the line of the circle. We want to manipulate that a little bit, and then we create that sort of a shape that we were talking about earlier that we have here on the left side drawn. We go like this up to this line, and then we can just do this up to this line and like that, sort of like that. Some of these things might vary again on your style, the position of these things. So we're just gonna throw in some simple shadow. Now I'm gonna throw in the ears. This time I'm gonna first throw in the ears. Now because this is a side view, we are going to allow ourselves to go a little bit lower than the nose here. And then drop in the ear. There we go. Again, all this is just constantly drawing. And in the end, you don't even have to think about this kind of thing anymore. The eyes are quite a distance in, actually. You would think they're very close to the end, but they're not. But first I'm gonna throw in these eyebrows. Again, no real guideline for this. Depends on what kind of expression you're trying to get here, really. So here you can see that if we look at it now, it takes around a centimeter here before the eye is actually drawn, and then we just draw a simple side view eye. Nothing too fancy. There we go. That's the eye. You can also draw some wrinkles. But that's it. That's the eye. And that's the side view almost. I mean, the neck here really, you can adjust it. And this part here as well. But remember that the skull is never in the shape of the circle. The only reason why we use the circle is because the head generally looks like a circle from afar. So it's much easier to throw it in, but remember that you should not make a head that looks like 100% of a circle. Because that's not what the head looks like. It looks actually ovalish, right? That's that. There we go. So I'm gonna just drop in some shoulders and stuff here, just to make it look a little bit better. Again, drawing everything else in side views. If you want to learn how to draw a body or things like that, I can do a tutorial on that as well. Not promise it's gonna teach you anything, but you know, I can still do one. So again, throwing in the shoulders. And yeah, slowly reaching the end of this recording, or this recording session. Again, I do hope that you did learn something from this tutorial. It's not the best. If you do want to get some quality tutorials on how to draw faces, I do recommend you check out Mark Crawley's channel. He does a lot of manga illustrations. He's been an illustrator and a writer for quite a long time now. And you can really learn a lot from him, just the theoretical part. I know that I learned a lot, and I really think that if you check it out, I'm sure that you'll pull something out of it. And I think he's a lot better at teaching than I am anyways. But I'm glad that you check out this video. You know, you should first check out my video, then check out Mark Crawley's videos, because mine are like 100 times better. No, I'm joking. That's a lie. That's probably not true at all. I mean, the time when I watched that video was pretty good. Really thought a lot. So yeah. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I guess I'll see you next Friday with another video, slightly different. Again, not gonna do concept art. It is gonna be concept art, but it's gonna be something a little bit different, not character. But yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye. Was the styles that you shouldn't worry about it, because eventually you're gonna be able to draw anything. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful.
Everything changes.